Hello, it's Richard Bowser here from Property Investor News magazine. Now I'm down here in Portsmouth today with Mike Frisby. Mike's a very well-known portfolio landlord. He runs the Property Investors Network meeting at Regent's Park. But here in Portsmouth, Mike is responsible for a portfolio of HMOs. So Mike, good morning.
Morning.
So Mike, tell me a little bit about how you finance your HMOs, because there is debate about how one should finance HMOs, and maybe some people are hyping it up a little bit. But tell us about yours.
Yes, so when we purchase an HMO, what we do is we go through a process of buying a property that we need to renovate and turn into an HMO. Mm-hmm. And while we're doing that as well, is we have to go through planning because we're in an area of Article 4.
Right.
And that, by the nature of the fact that we're changing the planning status through planning permission, not just through by running it as an HMO, you've kind of changed the type of property it is, because it's been moved from a residential property into a property that's producing income. And you were saying, a lot of people get hyped. Is I find that some people just set up an HMO, doesn't need planning permission, and then they think, oh, this could be commercially financed, this is a different type of building, but really it's not, because it can just be switched back, someone can invest in next door, and those kind of things. Because where I invest, if I invest in one, it means other people along the street can't. So it becomes a unique beast. So what we do, as I said, we do a lot of renovations, so we buy on short-term finance, and then roll on to longer-term finance, which is the more normal sort of buy-to-let field finance, but it's often seen as a commercial loan, so it's more of a commercial lender, and it's more based on a yield-based valuation, and that's because we've either got a sui generis or a C4 HMO that is a different beast to the house next door. So we're not comparing apple and apple, we're comparing orange and apple, and that's why we get, and that has a demand from the local investor community. So that's why it commands the price, because someone's saying, yes, I'm happy with that kind of return. I could either leave my money in the bank or I could get this return through this property. So I want that property, and if he doesn't buy it, someone else will. So it's a genuine, what I would call, valuation. It's not just something made up by these valuers, which I think some people think, oh yes, I will get this sky high, maybe somewhere in Doncaster that doesn't have Article 4 or something. They're thinking, oh, I'll now get 10 times or 12 times rent. It doesn't happen like that. And this whole 12 times, 10 times, valuers talk about yields, they don't talk about times of rents, they talk, you've got to talk in the language of the valuer, and how the RICS, what does it say in the RICS reports, how does RICS talk about valuing it, how does the bank happy to value it, and different banks do value it in slightly different ways. So we've mastered the system of rolling from short term into long term, and increasing the value of the properties and utilising commercial finance to do that down here.
That's great. Thank you, Mike.